Depends on what call we want to go with, how we want to rotate, and what guys give us the best chance to win.
Coach Combs was really talking to you up, Matt. He was saying that you guys are like perfect partners. He feels like he can get the guys ready, like fired up, and you're kind of the technician. Can you speak more about that? How you and Coach Combs make a good team?
Yeah, I think it's good yin and yang. Kerry does an unbelievable job, and I feel fortunate to be able to assist and kind of focus on the day-to-day and details and things like that, which frees him up to have a little bit more time to focus on bigger picture things and coordinating the whole defense. So it's been awesome. I've learned a ton from Kerry and really enjoyed my role.
Matt, when you talk about getting more speed in that secondary, is that where the bullet factors in? I know we've probably all talked about that position a lot the last 2 years, and it seems like it might actually feature more this year. Is that what you're referencing there with that speed being on the field?
Yeah, I think, if you go back, and maybe not as many snaps as some other times, but if you go back to 19 and 20, there were times where we were playing 5 defensive backs on the field. So that's nothing new to us. And again, it'll be game to game, week to week, what gives us the best chance to win. In some cases playing with 3 linebackers on the field. You go back, and sometimes we have 4 linebackers on the field. So it's week to week. It's by game plan. It's what we think the matchups are, how we think we can make a team left-handed, and we go from there.
If you have a week where the bullet factors in more, what is it that you guys want to see in that position? What does it take to play there?
Same thing with every other position. Great question, but effort, technique, and execution.
Now, Bullet is a hybrid linebacker. Go ahead.
So we've heard a lot about Cole Williams from leadership and tangible standpoint. What is he doing as a football player right now? And how close is he to being able to help you on the field?
Court's worked his butt off. I mean, he's the most diligent guy I've ever met. He's played well in some scrimmages, and he looks great. Excited for him.
And the Bullet is a hybrid linebacker safety, but I noticed that guys like Craig Young and Ronnie Hickman, they work with the safeties when you guys break apart. Is that correct? What's the reasoning behind that with them kind of a hybrid role?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, it's just what are we trying to get accomplished in that period? There are times when those guys that you mentioned will go down and do run fits with the linebackers and D-line. There's times when they go do more coverage things. There's time when I take the linebackers. There's times when I have Tommy Eichenberg, Cody Simon, Dallas Gant. There's times where Coach Walsh has the back end guys. It's just what are we trying to get done in that period, and what's the most efficient way to do it.
Man, I just walked up, but do you have a depth chart at this moment at your 2 safety spots and at the Bullet? Who are like maybe the 6 guys you intend to play back there, at least in the open?
Well, we intend to play more than 6.
Okay.
We want to play as many guys as are ready to play. So, do we have a set depth chart at this time? We don't. We're going to continue to evaluate to get the best guys on the field up until the time the foot hits the ball, and we'll continue that evaluation throughout the game.
Well, just give us a feel for, like, is Josh Proctor a leader back there? What have you seen out of him in preseason?
Well, he's an older guy. I mean, how much is he going to play? I mean, that remains to be seen, and those types of things. Has he been a leader? He's definitely matured a great deal since the first day I met Josh, and we're very proud of him for that.
Matt, what do you call the position of the person who covers the slot receiver in this defense?
Cover safety.
Okay. When we see, if Lathan, tell me if I'm wrong on these. If Lathan Ransom seems like a guy who works in there, Marcus Williamson, Cam Martinez, are they viewed all the same, or do they do any sort of different things when they're on the field?
That's a great question. We're very concept and technique oriented. So we teach the whole. So I can play a corner in the slot. I can play a traditional safety in the slot. So yes, sometimes those guys that you mentioned go cover in the slot, and sometimes those guys play in the post, and sometimes those guys play a third, and sometimes they play different things. So again, we're concept and technique oriented, so we're less concerned with which Jimmy and Joe is there right now. It's more, we're kind of more X's and O's right now. It's kind of this concept at this time. Hey, why don't we get so and so some reps there? We've seen what it looks like from last year and in the COVID era, and with injuries, guys have to be flexible and play different positions. So to say that we're going to lock a guy in, we're going to pigeonhole somebody into a certain position at this point, we're really not ready to do that.
I'm just making sure we don't sound stupid when we're talking about your defense.
Cover safety.
Because it's like, yeah,
Cover safety.
Like and I mean, when you look at someone again like Lathan Ransom as a football player versus Cam Martinez as a football player, they can do similar things, but they also seem to have different skill sets, but they might be lined up in the same place on the field, but it might be matchup-wise, the team you're playing, the
100%.
player
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
slot,
You hit it on the
they're
head.
doing different things.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah,
helping us.
absolutely.
Matt, what kind of impact has Paul Rhodes made on your room?
Paul's been tremendous. He's been an unbelievable help to me. We wish that we were able to get him to do some things on the field, but unfortunately we were not able to do so. But he's been a valuable resource for me. He's an encyclopedia of football knowledge. I think one of my biggest strengths as a coach is I have a low ego. I realize that there are many things I don't know. So when Paul tells me something, I generally go do it. But he's had a tremendously positive impact on myself, and then through me on our room.
To kind of piggyback on what Doug was asking, when you're on a recruiting trail, do you have to be kind of that specific of what they should be watching, whether it's cover safety, slot, outside, free safety, bullet, whatever it is?
In some instances, we're specific, and we always have targeted some body types and skill sets. But let's just, I could give you a ton of examples, but what we anticipated using Lathan Ransom as when he came in is much different than what we're actually using him as. So you have to be flexible. You have to understand that, again, if you pigeonhole somebody as a 17-year-old, I don't think that's the right move to make. I think you got to see what they can do. I think you have to see what your needs are, what they do best, and how you can put them in a defensive position to be successful.
Can you just kind of speak on, that guy got here in the summer and then he's playing in the Big Ten championship game because of circumstance. Can you just kind of speak on what he was able to do for you, Lathan, what he was able to do for you guys late in the season, given how he got here? He didn't have anything normal at all. He didn't even have.
Yeah, if you watched Lathan's high school film, he was more deep player, a deep field oriented, middle field safety, and those types of things. He ended up being a much better cover player than we anticipated. If you go back and watch, now I would expect to see Lathan all over the field this year, but if you go back to the Clemson game, you saw him mostly covering in the slot, and that was something that we were not necessarily anticipating him doing at such a high level.